Hey everyone, this is Daniel from PhoneArena with a video comparison between the iPhone 4S and the phone with the most amazing smartphone camera module ever, the Nokia 808 PureView. Its 41 megapixel camera module here makes for a nice hump on the back, and it's a fairly hefty device comparatively because of this huge sensor as well. The Nokia 808 PureView also has this physical navigational keys bar here made of plastic, and along with this fairly coarse plastic around it and this rounded front here, it looks like a Symbian handset from a few years ago, but of course it houses this engineering wonder called the PureView camera module. The iPhone 4S, on the other hand, is very thin, not that light since it's made of steel and glass. It's actually only about 30 grams lighter than the Nokia 808 PureView, but the difference in screen size makes for a easier one-handed usage with the iPhone 4S. As you can see, since the screen is 3.5 inches, whereas we have 4 inches AMOLED display on the Nokia 808 PureView. It's also easy to use it with one hand since the screen is not that big. But the main advantage of the iPhone in terms of the screen is that it has this Retina display, 640 by 960 pixel screen, whereas here we have the usual for a Nokia Bell resolution of 360 by 640 pixels, making text appear jagged and icon edges jagged as well. Otherwise, this AMOLED display is the brightest AMOLED we've seen to date actually, since it has this clear black coating of Nokia, which makes for very low anti-reflectance ratio, improving sunlight visibility significantly, so we won't have any troubles framing the shots when you're out and about and the sun is shining directly on the screen. The iPhone 4S also has a pretty bright display, IPS LCD, 500 nits, so both handsets have excellent outdoor visibility. Now let's have a look at the interfaces on these two displays of the iPhone 4S and the Nokia 808 PureView. Symbian has come a long way in its latest Nokia Bell Feature Pack 1 iteration on the Nokia 808 PureView in terms of performance, widget and pull-down notification bar that it supports. Yet when it comes to visuals and smoothness, the iPhone 4S has the definite leg up. With Nokia Bell Feature Pack 1 you get a vast number of new widgets, so you can pimp your home screen up like on an Android phone. But with this pixel density we have, the interface doesn't look nearly as good as on the iPhone 4S and its attention to detail. iOS doesn't offer widget and full portrait UI orientation support like we have here on the Nokia 808 PureView. But it has so many quality apps written for it that Nokia Bell just pales in comparison. The Nokia 808 PureView has a 1.3 GHz processor plus a separate one for the imaging tasks, as well as 512 megabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of internal memory. It runs Nokia Bell fine with the occasional hiccup, attributed more to the mobile OS hangs rather than processing power. The iPhone 4S also has half a gig of RAM and starts with 16 gigabytes of internal memory, but its dual-core A5 chip and strong PowerVR graphics are ahead of the Nokia PureView single-core processor and make the interface and apps, especially games, a pleasure to use. The Nokia 808 PureView offers full multitasking, as you can see. The phone shows you a snapshot of the state you left each active app in, so you can easily pick where to go next. Let's check the browser compared to Safari, for example, in the iPhone 4S. It's a pretty cranky browser here on the 808 PureView. You'd be hard-pressed not to download Opera Mobile immediately and get rid of the default one. As you can see, a lot of stuttering when panning around and zooming. It shows the checkered boxes very often when you try to zoom in. Pretty slow in rendering pages as well. Only when the page is completely loaded you can pan around, scroll and zoom with relative fluidity, which is still far behind what Safari on the iPhone 4S offers, as you can see. One big disadvantage of browsing on the Nokia 808 PureView is the pixel density again, which makes text unreadable when you're zoomed out. As you can see, you can barely discern anything here, whereas you can still read very well on the iPhone 4S. Both browsers don't support desktop Adobe Flash, but Flashlight 4.0 is present in the case of Nokia 808 PureView, which still allows you to see ads and view some videos on Flash websites. We actually don't need to tell you that the Nokia 808 PureView, its huge advantage before the iPhone 4S is in the camera department. You just need to look at the pictures it produces, even in automatic 5 megapixel mode here. The iPhone 4S, which makes pretty good pics with its 8 megapixel camera for your everyday needs when there's enough light, is no match for the abundance of detail and ultra low noise the 41 megapixel sensor of the Nokia 808 PureView is able to produce. Not to mention that in low light photography, the Nokia is simply years ahead of the other smartphones out there, and not only due to the powerful xenon flash that we have on the device, but also because of the comparatively gigantic sensor surface it sports. The camera interface also couldn't be much different. The iPhone 4S follows a credo of point-and-shoot simplicity and ease of use, with the only settings you can do is HDR in the flash mode on and off, whereas with the Nokia 808 PureView here in creative mode you can set up almost everything besides shutter speed, but it also has an automatic mode, which is excellent. Both handsets shoot fluid 1080p video as well, with 30 frames per second and appealing colors, but the Nokia 808 PureView has the advantage of using the 41 megapixel sensor for oversampling, combining a few pixels in one super pixel, allowing more detail in. Not only that, but the huge sensor allows for full 4 times lossless zoom while filming in 1080p, which is a great feature to have. You can zoom in like that. If you shoot in 720p, you have even more, 6 times lossless zoom, allowing you to be your own personal movie director while filming. The other advantage of the Nokia 808 PureView has is in the Nokia Rich Recording stereo audio that the dual mix on the handset are able to capture. Nokia says the microphones can pick up from the very low to the extremely high, up to 140 decibel noises without crackling or distortion, so I can take the phone to the club or a concert with confidence. Indeed, it's probably the first handset where we can actually hear the bass recorded when we play the video back. In the end, we're coming back to the question whether some might swap or go directly for the Nokia 808 PureView before the iPhone 4S. Given that the price is about the same, the answer will be yes, only if you're a shutterback or just very curious to try the outstanding 41 megapixel PureView sensor. The arguments are that Nokia Bell is leaps ahead of what Symbian used to be, supporting multiple home screens, widgets, and this pull-down notification bar here. But is still no match yet for the fluidity of iOS. Not to mention the power of many thousands of quality apps that the Nokia store doesn't have much to show for. A big hindrance is also the lousy screen resolution than those Nokia apps are written for, and which makes both the interface and even the best apps look quite outdated in comparison with what's out there for the Retina display of the iPhone 4S. The only big advantage is Nokia Drive, which offers free offline voice-guided navigation in more than 100 countries worldwide, which is a big advantage. It will save you a few tens to buy a standalone navigational software on the iPhone 4S, for example. The design of the Nokia 808 PureView also looks pretty outdated in comparison with this steel and glass iPhone chassis. Still, it feels like a solid function before form device and is more versatile in terms of connectivity and expandability, offering both a removable battery and a micro SD card slot, as well as micro USB port and HDMI port. What might make you fall in love with the Nokia 808 PureView though, and forget about all of its disadvantages in comparison with a modern mobile OS smartphone like the iPhone 4S, is that groundbreaking PureView camera technology here on the back. While it might not make you switch your Apple handset, especially if you're design conscious and deep into the iTunes ecosystem, it might certainly make you consider it a choice when you go on vacation or on your next night out. That's how good the 41 megapixel PureView sensor is, coupled with the Nokia Rich Recording stereo audio. This was a video comparison between the iPhone 4S and the Nokia 808 PureView from PhoneArena. For more information about these and other handsets, you can visit us at PhoneArena.com. Thanks for watching.